Okay, happy Pride Month. Today I will be ranking every plant in Plants vs. Zombies 1 based off of whether I think they are gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual or pansexual, asexual, transmasc, transfemme, or non-binary. Okay, so Blover, this is easy. I think Blover is a twink. Just look at him. Cabbage Pult, I think, is like the most average, boring, normal, white bread, straight ass motherfucker imaginable. Cactus absolutely gives me stud vibes. I think that Cactus is a stud. I think that she would probably be in a mask for mask relationship. Definitely a stud lesbian. Cattail is incredibly easy. Look at her. She is a furry. She wears a pink beanie. In her almanac entry, she barks. She is canonically a puppy girl. Absolutely trans femme. Probably the type to, like, I don't know, be on Tumblr all the time and own a blahage and play Celeste or some shit. um, Cherry Bomb, there are two heads, so I think Cherry Bomb would be bisexual. Chomper, I think, is like a gay bara body type guy. I think that is mentioned in the almanac that he had an acting career, but it didn't go through. I think that's because he was caught in a gay sex scandal and was unfairly blacklisted. Cobb Cannon gives me a older gay man who like went to a good college, got a good job, married, but like was in the closet until like later in life. That's the vibe that Cobb Cannon gives. Coffee Bean is like a younger, not necessarily younger, but Coffee Bean is like a trans mask, maybe a twink, maybe gay or bisexual with a male lean. I think Coffee Bean is definitely trans mask. I think that's probably based off of like how many of my trans mask friends kind of have the same energy as Coffee Bean. Doomshroom, this is easy. Doomshroom is asexual. He does not care about love or romance or intimacy. He's only interested in death and destruction. Flowerpot's almanac entry says that they are both a plant and a pot for planting. That goes in defiance of norms for plants, so I think it would make sense that Flowerpot would also define norms for gender and would be non-binary. I think Fumeshroom is like a middle-aged gay guy, specifically, not gay, bisexual, specifically the type of bisexual as like Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers, where he's like bisexual, but like doesn't really like he hasn't figured it totally out, but like he knows he's still attracted to men, and he's like, if a man hits on him, he's like, oh, you wouldn't want someone like me. I'm not someone you should be going for. I'm not good enough. That's like, I think he's like Bob Belcher bisexual. Garlic canonically has a wife, and I can't imagine him being anything other than straight. Probably my most controversial opinion, but as a trans woman, I think that Gatling P is a trans woman who was in the military because she was repressing, and that's like, the military is seen as the most masculine thing you can do. It didn't work out for her because she's not a man. She came out, left the military, probably doesn't look back on her time in the military fondly, but she's found herself, and that's ultimately very good. She's happy with herself. I think Gloomshroom is a lesbian dominatrix. Gold Magnet is straight. He's a Wall Street rich ass banker type guy. I don't think any plants are necessarily like bigoted, but I think Gold Magnet would be the closest to it. I think you'd be like that meme where it's like, I do not have anything against you gays, but you all are so annoying. God bless. Not homophobic or anything, but the closest to it. Gravebuster is absolutely like a goth non-binary. I also had headcanon Gravebuster as autistic because they always, in their animations, look like they are stimming. And as a leftist, because Gravebuster in the Almanac canonically does like community service and activism and work. So definitely a goth, non-binary leftist. Hypnoshroom, I think, is definitely a stoner or like bi-pan guy who does a lot of drugs, was on like a mushroom trip once, mushroom because he is a mushroom, and realized that he was pansexual. He's like down to fuck anybody regardless of who they are. Ice Shroom is just like cold, aloof, not very into intimacy or anything. I think Ice Shroom is also asexual. Imitator as like himself, I think, is asexual, but I'm going to put Imitator in the bi-pan category because he can be anyone and everything, anything. So I think that includes reflecting their identity as well. Jalapeno is a straight guy. There's not really much to say about it. Colonel Paul is also like is a gay guy. I think he would be like a gay guy from the South. That's kind of all that like I can really come up with. Pea Shooter is also just like an average straight guy, but I think he's a very strong ally to the LGBTQ plus community. Definitely a very strong supporter. Yeah, I think Lily Pad, she is a lesbian. She's just like a chill ass lesbian. She's probably a stoner. Because she seems very relaxed and chill and laid back all the time. Magnet Shroom is bisexual, but recently out and a little insecure about it still. Um, Marigold, she's like Pea Shooter. She's just like a normal ass straight woman, but like Pea Shooter, I think she's a very, very active ally to the queer community. Um, Most people, myself included, I think would put Melon Paul as straight. But I actually, upon some thinking, I actually think Melon Paul would be a one of those like conservative hunk gay guys who's like only mask for mask and is like, oh, I'm one of the normal ones. I'm not with all that woke nonsense. So like the worst type of queer person. Um, Plantern, similar to Flower Pot, Plantern's almanac talks about like how they define norms of planthood, like being a plant, and are like some possibly some like otherworldly alien witchy being. That reads as very non-binary to me. Potato Mine is just gay. I can't think of any other elaboration for it. He's just gay. Puffshroom is like a younger baby trans mask guy who's like super excited, like and happy to be out. I think that even though Puffshroom and Fumeshroom have pretty different queer experiences, they both are bond pretty well because they're the only two queer people in their family, like the immediate family. So they share a very close relationship. Pumpkin is just like an old ass straight guy. I can't really say any. I don't really know any other way to put it. Repeater is bisexual but was in the closet until very recently. He grew up in a rough environment where being anything other than straight and masculine was not something to be. And I think he dealt with a lot of internalized homophobia and biphobia. But he found himself in a better community and recently had the courage to come out. Scary Shroom is a trans man who wears hoodies all the time and listens to Cavetown and Willwood. It's quite obvious, honestly. Sea Shroom is a trans woman. My friends have been gaslighting me for a long time that trans women love Sea Shroom. I don't believe them. I think that this is just like a psyop, but honestly, at this point, it's gotten me to headcanoning Sea Shroom as trans femme, so maybe their plan has worked. I think Snowpea is definitely a lesbian. I think she's like a dom, either high femme or like soft butch. Like either she dresses super elaborately or she like wears pantsuits to the office and like makes married moms reconsider everything about themselves. That's Snowpea to me. I also think both Spike Rock and Spikeweed are lesbians, butch lesbians, but different types. Spike Rock with all like she is like a very anarchist punk butch lesbian. She spiked hair, dyed hair. She wears combat boots and black leather and spikes all the time. That's Spike Rock to me. Meanwhile, I think Spikeweed is like 40-something butch woman who's like married and like wears button-ups and cargo shorts all the time and goes to the farmer's market with her wife every weekend and like probably has like a teacup chihuahua that is basically their child. And that's Spikeweed to me. So I would have normally put Split Pea, or at first I would have put Split Pea in the bi-pan category based off of my reasoning that anything with two heads would be bisexual or pansexual. But the almanac actually confirms that Split Pea's second head is not actually sentient, it's just like a growth. So based off of that, I think Split Pea would be straight. Squash is just like clearly a very Bara bear type guy. Like just look at him. He goes to gay bars all the time and he's like the most stereotypical bear Bara guy there. Starfruit is bi-pan because he shoots in all directions. I think both Sunflower and Sunshroom are lesbians. I think Sunflower is like the most normal uh, garden variety lesbian you can imagine. Just like that kind of lesbian. And I think Sunshroom is kind of similar, but a little more aloof, a little more, um, I don't know how to describe it, but she's a little different in her attitude. Tallnut to me is like a trans man. Specifically, like there's that one meme where on TikTok the guy's like, "Oh, sorry, miss, but you will always be a woman," to this like trans guy who looks like this hairy, buff, bearded trans guy who looks like an ancient Greek statue, and he's just like smirking at the comment. Or he's like that one picture. It's like the two really hairy, like bearded trans dudes who are like embracing. That's Tallnut to me. Tallnut's almanac entry also reads like as a trans elder to me. Like he would help younger trans people like with coming out and finding themselves. He would be like that kind of like person to look towards for help in the community. Tangle kelp is a boy motor. Look at like the hair of covering the eyes, the wanting to hide and not be seen all the time. I think Tangle kelp is a boy motor. She'll eventually come out. She's probably already out to her like close friends and stuff. She'll probably like be one of those like emo or goth trans women. But yeah, Tangle kelp is a boy motor. Three Peter is just like the average guy who is like, Three Peter is just like the average guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm Three Peter. I like going on walks in the park. I like jazz. I like the number 5. I like backgammon. Also, I'm bisexual. I completely defy gaydar, but that's me. I'm Three Peter, and I'm bisexual. Torchwood is like a veteran ex-military gay guy who served in the Navy and saw so much like butt and cock in the Navy, like gay Navy ass, that like it made him realize he was gay. That's because the Navy is the gayest branch, I think. But yeah, that's Torchwood. He's like an ex-military gay. Twin Sunflower is like, to me, no, not to me, in general. Twin Sunflower is a femme trans woman, probably straight or like with a male preference. She's very femme. She had both bottom surgery and FFS because her almanac entry talks about how she had science done on her. She's a product of science, and I think that is a metaphor for gender-affirming surgery. Umbrella Leaf, I think, is also a trans woman. She's just like a trans stoner. That's the vibe that Umbrella Leaf really gives me. Walnut, I think, is a trans man. He's Tallnut's younger brother, who's also trans. He's kind of like your average trans guy, and he looks up to Tallnut a lot. Tallnut helped him like come out of the closet. Yeah, that's Walnut to me. I also think Wintermelon is a trans man. I think he would be like a straight trans man who has a bit of insecurity about how he's perceived as a trans man who's attracted to women, but he's in a good community, and he's becoming more confident in himself. So that's how I see all of these plants, defined by their labels or identities. And as we can see, the plants overall are very gay. The gay, straight, lesbian, and bi-pan categories all have the same amount. There's a decent number, a good number of transgender plants, and there's a few asexual ones as well. So I think we can conclude that on average, the Plants vs. Zombies 1 plant roster is very queer. That's kind of all I have to say for now. Happy Pride Month. I hope you'll consider the information I presented in this video next time you play Plants vs. Zombies. Goodbye.